Good morning, everybody, and welcome to PNM and the AM. I am your host, Mike Lauro. Sorry about a little bit earlier, guys. Pat is having some very bad technical difficulties with these storms that are around in the area. Unfortunately, I couldn't be on with him earlier. I was able to actually get free from what I've been doing. So, yeah, here we go, guys. PNM and the AM. Al is on vacation, so you got me for the next hour or so. We got a lot to talk about in the world of Philly sports. That's right. You have the Eagles in training camp. From what they've been saying, Jalen Hurts has been looking pretty good. And also, another former quarterback taking shots at Jalen Hurts in the form of Cam Newton. Let's see what we're going to get into that as well. Phillies, a big win yesterday, guaranteeing them a series win up in the Bronx as they belt out 9 more runs. They now have 21 runs in 2 games up in the Bronx. So we're going to wait and see how everything goes today. See, can they break out the brooms on the Bronx Bombers? Yesterday, to me, was just it was good to see the Phillies finally starting to hit. Big question now is about Edmundo Sosa. How long will he be out with that collision with Brandon Marsh in left field? So we have to definitely look into that. I guess it's going to be Otto Kemp time, right, guys? So make sure you guys do that. Just a quick note, guys. Today, it will be Matty B on the call for the Titans final. So make sure you tune in for that. He will also be he'll be on again later, but make sure you check out his segment Down on the Farm. I think it's going to be really good. I not think it's going to be real. It is going to be really good. So make sure you check out for that of the comings and goings in the Phillies minor league system. Every Sunday night, and then Matty B will be back with you tonight for the final word. Every Sunday to Thursday, 10 p.m. Make sure you tune in for that. He'll probably be going over some of the Phillies, whatever happens today, whether they sweep or take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees before heading off to Chicago to play the White Sox. So make sure you tune in for Matty. He'll probably have you covered as well on the Eagles training camp. Guys, coming up Thursday, it'll be Steve Fuentes and Pat Bernard. I don't know what Pat's situation is right now with his internet, so I don't know. But the attacking third will be on Thursday, so make sure you guys check that out. Pat and Steve will have you covered with the comings and goings of all the MLS and the Philadelphia Union. The wraparound, that's right, the wraparound, 10:30 every Friday right here with Pat Bernard. Make sure you check him out. And then, of course, every Sunday, me and Pat and Al, we will be here breaking down Philly sports for you guys. So there you have it. There's our schedule right now for the week. Again, the Phillies yesterday, 9-4 winner over those New York Yankees. And I'll tell you what, if you're looking at some of the notables in the game, Max Kepler, 2 for 5 yesterday. Trey Turner was 2 for 6 with 2 RBIs yesterday. Schwarber he was 2 for 5 also with 2 RBIs. Bryce Harper on 1 for 5 performance. JT Realmuto 2 for 4. Brandon Marsh was 2 for 3 with a walk. He had a pretty productive game yesterday. Johan Rojas was 1 for 4. He was 0 for 4. And Bryson Stott was 1 for 3 with 2 walks. So there you have it. Edmundo Sosa as well, also 1 for 4, that being that big 2-run home run. Pitching wise, Ranger Suarez, 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Max Lazar pitched a third of an inning, gave up nothing. Daniel Robert pitched 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, 2 earned runs, a walk, and a strikeout. Alan Rangel, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 1. And Seth Johnson came in and kind of shut the door there, giving up 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. So there is your performances yesterday from your Fighting Phils. And I'll tell you what, what's really surprising me throughout all of this right now is the Mets. I didn't think the Mets were going to be able to go out to I didn't think the Mets were going to be able to go out to, San Francisco and win like they have been. They've taken 2 out of 3 from the Giants, which has really surprised me. I think the Giants are kind of falling back a little bit. But right now, the Phillies sit in the National League, literally a half game behind the lead of the National League, with the Dodgers, Brewers, Cubs, and Mets all sitting at 61 wins, and the Phillies are right there at 60. So there you have it. I mean, they're right there. But then again, everybody else is also right there as well. So today, I guess the game matchup will be. I'm going to see who's starting today for the Phillies. Zach Wheeler against Carlos Rendon. I think this should be a really, really good matchup. I like Wheeler in this one. I think the Phillies can complete the sweep today. So I would love to see what's going to happen later on. I like Wheeler in this position. I really do. I think he's going to be pitch a very good game today. But Rendon, he has been sneaky good as well, especially against the Phillies in his career. Carlos Rendon's been pretty good against the Phils. Adam C's checking in saying, "What's up, Mike? What is going on, Adam?" In case you guys are joining me and you're looking going, "Hey, wait a minute. I thought Pat was on by himself earlier." Pat had some technical difficulties. Again, I'm going to reiterate. At the time Pat was doing the show, I was not available. I am now currently available. So I was going to kind of sneak on with Pat, but he kind of ended the stream because of his because of the choppiness of his Wi-Fi. And it's not, I don't think it's so much him today as it's been kind of really nasty weather here in right outside Philly. So again, I'm going to pick up the slack for both of the guys. Al's on vacation. So right about now, I hope he's got about 10 pounds of sand in his butt crack and having a blast. I got to do it. Pat's not here. I got to do it. So, but yeah, this Phillies team right now, I want to know, guys, where do you guys see this team making their trades? It's kind of died off on the Clase Stephen Kwan thing. It really has. It's kind of died down on that. I would love to see where it's going to go. For some odd reason, and I don't know why, I just have this overwhelming feeling. I got a feeling that there was a trade kind of put out there probably about, I don't know, a week or so ago. And it had something to do with Sir Anthony Dominguez being returned to the Phillies. We just saw Greg Soto get traded to the Mets, so that's going to help the Phillies out a lot because we both seen what Greg Soto can do here. Greg Soto is not a pressure pitcher. He cannot pitch in a postseason setting. I'm sorry. I don't have no faith in that guy. I was telling our buddy Pudgy Mike, who we had on the show here a couple weeks ago, I said, man, good luck with that guy. I was like, that guy came here with a world full of, we got sold a bag of, batch of bad goods there with that guy. We couldn't wait to offload him. So he's the Mets problem now. What I've been hearing has been Sir Anthony Dominguez. He might be coming back as well. This is also what I've been hearing too, is that, that they were looking at a the trade rumors that it's just been popping up, like Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks. I'm like, I don't think the Phillies need him. I mean, yes, he is a right-handed bat, but he's a third baseman. We already got Alec Bohm. Unless, hear me out, unless Dombrowski and Preston Mattingly are looking to move a guy like Nick Castellanos. That's the only thing I can see where it would make sense for them to go after a guy like Eugenio Suarez or Eugenio Suarez, however you pronounce it. That's the only way I can see them going after him, is moving Nick Castellanos, because then he could put Bryce Harper back in right field. Okay, you can move Alec Bohm over to first base, and then Suarez can play third. And I'm really thinking that might be able, that might happen. As far as center field goes, if they do not bring up Justin Crawford, I could see them going with a older rental player, which probably wouldn't cost them much, which would be a guy like Cedric Mullins. And to be honest with you, I know a lot of people don't want him. I've heard Maddie talk about it. Maddie saying that he didn't want him, but I like Cedric Mullins, and I think him on this team. I think he doesn't have to provide that pop. He's very good at being at the top of the lineup. You could bat him first or second behind Trey, which kind of allows you to drop Schwarber. You know, you can drop Schwarber down, and I'll tell you what, man. I like what they're doing. I'm gonna like if it goes the way I think they're going to go. Another name that's been linked to the Phillies has been Kyle Finnegan from the Washington Nationals, along with Clase as well. Even there was some talk around this town about the Phillies potentially trading for Mason Miller. I think the Phillies would have to give up basically everything in their farm system to get Mason Miller here. Now, if you get a guy like Clase and Miller, Miller you're going to have to give up a ton for. Clase you're going to have to give up quite a bit to get because they have years of control from this year and beyond. So, I don't know. The guy from the Twins, Johan, his name's slipping me right now, but I just wanted the one rumor that keeps just getting like the one guy that keeps getting thrown with the Phillies is Luis Roberts, and I don't want him. If the Mets want to go and get him, by all means, get him. Like they can have him, man. They can have him. Flames right here on talking about this here. The writings on the wall in St. Louis. It looks like the Phillies are now being linked to Ryan Helsley of the Cardinals, as it's saying right here, as well as Griff Jacks and Johan Duran. That's the guy's name, Johan Duran. So those are the guys that the Phillies are kind of looking at. Don't forget the two guys out in Pittsburgh too, Bernard and Santana. I believe that was his name. So don't forget to look around those two guys as well. But for me, that's basically who I'm looking at right now for this Phillies team. But I really do. If they do not bring up Justin Crawford, I do believe watch for Cedric Mullins to come in a potential trade with the Phillies. He's got a year left on his deal. Don't really see too much have to give away for a Cedric Mullins. He would be like a rental. So let me get to some of your comments, guys. Again, I jump back in. Guys, Pat was having technical difficulties if you're just tuning in this morning. At the time, Pat was on our normal start time, 9 o'clock. I was not available. I became available. So with Pat having his issues with the current storms that are around the area, so I decided to jump on here and take one for the team. So get you guys in on at least your PNM and the AM coverage. I'll drop a few Patisms, as we call it, as we go along, so you guys don't feel like you're getting cheated out of it. So let's get to some of these comments. Adam saying his Wi-Fi is connected to his favorite team, the Mets. Well, if that would be the case, Adam, he'd be doing pretty damn good because the Mets are doing pretty damn good. As much as it pains me to say it, I actually thought they were going to lose 2 or 3 this weekend, not win 2 or 3. But hey, it's all going to come down to we just got to beat them. That's all there is to it. The Phillies got to beat the Mets head to head. That's it. They got to beat them. And until they do that, it's going to be the Mets division to lose. Ricky, hey, Ricky, I'm glad you're watching, buddy. He said Phillies got the center fielder, Brewer Hickton for cash from the Brewers. Yeah, but think about it. He wasn't their starter, and he's now down in the minor leagues. So, and that's another thing, too. They got David Robertson coming back up to help him. I mean, I don't know how much you're going to get out of a 40-year-old, but they said the other night he was looking pretty good. His fastball was hitting like 92, 93 in one of his rehab appearances down there for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Joe Hale says, I think Abel gets traded in any deal. I don't think so, Joe. I don't. I think it's got to be somebody worthwhile for him to be traded. I mean, Abel's a pretty high prospect. If you're going to get a pretty high prospect from the Phillies, you're going to have to give up something in return. So I just don't think they're not just going to make him in. But I tell you, I got this overwhelming feeling, man. Nick Castellanos is out of here. I just don't know why. Especially now with the Phillies being rumored with Eugenio Suarez out of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Like I said, he's a third baseman by trade. So we'll have to wait and see. Joe Hale says, I want the Pirates center fielder. Give me his name, Joe, and I'll let you know. Mike Papernick checking in saying, yo, Mike, what's going on, Mike? I know he's getting ready. He's having fun up there in upstate New York. So, but yeah, we're the Phillies looking to close it out today. Like I said, they're going against a pretty good left-hander in Carlos Rendon, and he's given the Phillies fits over the years. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't think there's going to be this explosion. I think it's going to be kind of like how it's been. I think it's going to be a close game. I just think the Phillies have been doing this all year. They've been beating up on people's bullpens all year. This is what the Phillies do. They'll sit there and it'll be lackluster. And then all of a sudden, boom, they just, they just start hitting. And the next thing you know, there you have it. All right, Joe, you're saying, O'Neill Cruz. I'm kind of lukewarm on that guy. Yeah, he's fast and he can run, but he's not good defensively. He's had a lot of errors out in center field. So, and I don't think he's a guy that you got to probably, if you do trade for him, I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm on him. I really am. I'm kind of lukewarm on, O'Neill Cruz. So, but my perfect trade scenario would be this: they keep Crawford and Painter, and I think they keep Miller too. To be honest with you, I think those three guys are not touchable. And you make a trade, and you got to have a will. Now, mind you got to have a dance partner. But if they can get back Clase, Cedric Mullins, I would be real happy with that. Because if they have it, they have it. If you can get Clase and come here and via trade along with Cedric Mullins, you get a center fielder right now that you can kind of help groom Justin Crawford a little bit. You also have a closer, a bona fide closer now, and now all you got to do is worry about, from 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I think you have those guys in-house right now with the additions of Kirkering and Strom and Banks. I think those three pitchers can easily eat up those innings with Tanner Banks, Matt Strom, and Orion Kirkering can be your setup guy, which to me I think would be great because if you have Kirkering and Clase, there's your setup. There's your 8th and 9th inning guys now for the next 4 or 5 years. You're pretty much set in your back end of your bullpen. So, yeah. Our boy Steve Fuentes checking in. He goes, what's up, Mike? I'm looking at the crowd, top of the NL right now. The Phillies are going to regret big time some of the great pitching nights and lack of bats. You know what, Steve? I can agree with you on that, but the Dodgers can say the same thing. So can the Cubbies. So can the Dodgers, the Cubbies, the Mets for sure. The Mets have had no pitching. It's just that the Phillies haven't had it. They just didn't run away with this division. But I'm not sold on what the Mets have. I'm really not. I think their lack of pitching is what's going to haunt them. I really do. I don't think that they're going to be able to mash and bash their way back to the NLCS. I really don't. I think the Mets are a playoff team. Now, where they finish, I don't know. But the Dodgers have went through the same thing. They've had a ton of injuries, but they have such a deep roster due to Dodgers. Like, I'm surprised that they really kind of fell back to the pack. I really am. I thought for sure they would kind of run away with the National League, and not for say that you know, not to say that um, I wouldn't fear the Dodgers in the postseason, because besides the Atlanta Braves, they're the biggest choke team ever. I mean, yeah, they won it last year, but let's take a look, man. Take a look at how many times the Dodgers have been to the postseason, and I think they've gotten 2 titles. Right? If I think I'm right. They've won 2 World Series in like the last 20 years, but they've been there quite often. So, to me, they're just like this generation's version of the Braves, of the 90s Braves. Always getting there, always a bridesmaid, never the bride, except for a couple of occasions. So, let's see what happens, man. Like I said, I'm not worried about them. So, Mike Papernick says, I hope Dombrowski does not trade Crawford or Painter unless it's a hypothetical for Paul Skeens and Wheeler Sanchez Skeens scores Luzardo. I'll tell you what, if that happens right there, you would have Wheeler Sanchez Skeens, Suarez, Luzardo would go right to the pen. Luzardo would go to the pen because you'd have to make room for Aaron Nola. So, I mean, that would be it there. Adam saying, how about Nick Hertz from Oakland hitting 4 home runs and setting a record for a rookie? Yeah. And if you looked at that double, Adam, he almost had number 5. He should have had 5. That double was damn close to being a home run. That was a great Friday night for that kid. And that would be funny. Let's see here. He says, I meant to say our rotation would be Wheeler, Sanchez, Skeens, Suarez, Luzardo. No, what Luzardo would get moved to the pen. Luzardo would get moved to the pen. You keep forgetting about Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola is going to he's going to get put in that 5-man rotation. So, all righty. Steve says, imagine, though, the Phillies could have won at least 4 or 5 of those games with their lead in the MLB. Got time, but need a splash at the deadline this week. Listen, I would be really, really surprised, man. I would really, really surprised. Um, if they add a right-handed bat, I really am. I would be really surprised. That's why this thing with Suarez is coming out of nowhere, to me anyway. Like, he wasn't even on the Phillies list. So to me, again, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say, definitely on that, Steve. About doing, I think they're just going to try to bolster up that bullpen. If you get a guy like Clase in here, pretty much, I think you're going to see kind of like how we saw down the stretch in the postseason last year. With Estevez. Estevez rarely didn't come in before the 9th inning. Rarely. Yeah, there were times he did, but in the postseason, he was a strictly 9th inning guy, and I think that's what they were going to do with Clase if they were to get him. Mike Papernick says, you always say don't worry about the Dodgers or the Braves, but those teams recently have won World Series. Yeah, Mike, they did. They did. Dodgers won in a 2020 strike shortened season. They won, and they won last year. I gave them credit for last year. Dodgers were the best team in baseball last year, and they went out and proved it. But look at them overall. I know the Phillies haven't won nothing since 2008, but the Braves won in 2021. They came out of nowhere. They have won. I mean, let's go back. I mean, the Braves' only other World Series was 1996. And before the Dodgers won in 2020, go back and look when the last time the Dodgers won. Like, go back and look how long it's been since the Dodgers won up until then. Like, yes, I will continue to say that. They are the biggest choking teams in the National League when it comes to playing in the postseason. Do they get lucky? Yeah, the sun shines on a dog's ass every now and then. And guess what? The dog's ass is the Braves and the Dodgers. For as much as they get there and for as much talent, and I'm going to give them their kudos here too. Their minor league systems are top notch, dude. The Dodgers, to me, I feel, have the best system in all of baseball. I really, truly do. And to sit there and say, like, for as many times as they've been there. That's what I'm saying. The Phillies haven't been there those many times. They had their 5-year run, and then they spent a good portion of damn near a decade away. They were a decade in between playoff appearances. Where the first, the golden years, as they like to call it around here, they got one World Series and made it to 2 World Series and then declined right after that. This time they got to a World Series and have declined since then. So yeah, I know they've won one World Championship since, they've won one World Championship since 2008. I hear you on that one. But, again, the Dodgers won a strike shortened series in 2020. Last year, I'll give them credit for. Last year, they were it. But other than that, and the Braves have won one. So, I mean, let's not, again, you guys are, theirs is more recent than the Phillies. I'll give them that. But look at all the time that they were in the postseason. That decade that the Phillies were out of the postseason, Dodgers were in there. The Braves were a playoff team damn near every year. Hell, even the Mets even got to a World Series between the Phillies and from 2009 to whatever. You know what I mean? There you go. Uh-oh. I think I woke the beast. I woke the sleeping beast up. It says the Phillies have choked the last 2 years against the. Yeah, I will agree 1,000%. Again, like I said, 22, the Phillies were the hot team. 23 and 24, the Phillies ran into the hot team. So that's basically what happened there. And you're right, they did choke. The Phillies were the better team in both of those series, and they got their butts beat, and as they deserve to. Would you take Marte from Arizona? Again, it's the asking price, Joe. I mean, I'll take anybody if the asking price is good. Matty B checking in here with it's a rep. Here it is. It says Braves won in 95, Yankees 96, Marlins 97, Yankees 98, 99, 2000, D-backs in 01, Angels 02, Marlins, Red Sox, White Sox, Cardinals, Red Sox. Boom. So, yeah. I mean, you're taking a look right here. I mean, dude, look at this. So, if I'm correct, yeah, Matty, I think you should go on because I want to see the years. I know the years, 08 and 09 was Phillies, Yankees, and then 2010, I believe, was San Francisco. 2011, I think, was Boston. Was it Boston that they won in 11? I remember they got eliminated by the Cardinals. Or no, it might have been the Cardinals. Might have been the Cardinals in 11. And then 12 was back to the Giants again because we were always making jokes that the Giants can't win on odd number years. It has to be an even year for the Giants to win. But I would like to see, I believe 13 was Boston. But from 14 on, man, I can't remember who won what. But again, this is what I'm saying. Like the reason why I call the Dodgers and the Braves the biggest choking teams are is because they're always, during these times, they were always in the World Series. Always. Like he puts it here, Braves won in 95. There was no World Series in 94. 93, we know it was the Phillies. But again, they beat the Braves to get there. 92, 91, it was the Braves in the World Series. Lost. So, I mean, it's going to, again, to me, I think the Braves are the biggest choking team when it comes to playing in the postseason. But the Dodgers are right behind them. Joe Hale says, thoughts on Jimmy Rollins and Ed Wade going into the Hall of Fame. I think it's nice. Jimmy Rollins is well deserved. I don't know about Ed Wade. I mean, I guess he kind of had he was kind of the architect that started that 5-year run before Gillett came in and took over for him. So I guess, I mean, he did end up bringing Jim Thome here to Philadelphia. So for me, I think that's, he had some, but, I don't know. Because he did some good things, Ed Wade, but he did some bozo things too as well. So that's why I'm kind of like, but I guess they're trying to be nice and put him in. So That's definitely it. Guys, don't forget tonight, 10 o'clock. That's right. The master of ceremony, as you will, uh, our our boss, the big guy, Matty B. That's right. Tonight, the final word. Every Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. He'll be going over today's Phillies game, as he will, as of course, because he'll be doing the post game as well. But he will also be checking in on Eagles training camp. His one of my favorite segments that he does is This Day in Philadelphia Sports History. So make sure you check him out for that. I always find it to be very, very fascinating. Thursday night, guys, Pat Bernard and Steve Fuentes. That's right. They will have you covered with all of the MLS action and, of course, our Philadelphia Union for the attacking third. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Every Friday, it is the wraparound with Pat Bernard. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Pat will be taking you through the ins and outs of all Philly sports, even some that really, like myself, do not cover. Pat covers it all. He will go through stuff like, excuse me. He'll be going through some stuff like our Philadelphia Wings, the Water Dogs. So make sure you check out Pat for the wraparound. Us guys here at it's a wrap. We call it the reach around with Pat, but it's all loving games there. And of course, guys, every Sunday it's me and Pat and Al. Again, we all know I kind of reiterated what happened with Pat this morning, having some technical issues. Al's also having some technical issues. I think last count I heard he's buried up to his neck in sand in Rehoboth. So, yeah, he's going to have a sandy crack later when he gets out of here. Guys, having you covered today, Matty B, like I said, he will have you covered for the finale of the Fightins final today with those New York Yankees. That's right. So make sure you tune in. Matty will also have his Down on the Farm report, which is very interesting, and nobody works as hard as Matty does on covering the Phil's minor leaguers. And the upcoming series, that's right. Monday night, Pat will have you covered as we roll into Chi-Town. That's right. Pat will have you covered on Monday. Steve will have you Tuesday, and Matty B will have you on Wednesday for that Sox series upcoming, which I think should be awesome. I cannot wait to see this series. I like a little guilty pleasure for myself, man. I will say this. Back in the day, I was I had an AL team I would pick every different years. I would just go, you know what? I think I might kind of look at them side-eyed. Always been a Phillies fan, but always had an AL love team. We're the two Sox teams. I would follow either Chicago or Boston. And I'll tell you what, man, that's probably one of my places, bucket lists I want to go to for baseball. I would love to get on the south side. I'm going to do both sides, actually. I'd like to do south side and north side of Chicago one of these days. So it's definitely a bucket list for me. Steve Union, big 3-1 win last night at home, take back first place with 10 games remaining on the year. There you go. Steve is down there. Those guys, I love them to death, but they are trying to get me to a soccer match. And, yeah, I don't know, man. Been to one soccer match in my whole life, and I kind of was hard staying awake. Adam says, great show, Mike. You leaving us already, Adam? All right. Well, now we're going to dive in to the Eagles. That's right. Your Philadelphia Eagles started training camp this week. And I'll tell you what, man, what can you really go with as far as, 7-on-7, I mean, what do you take out of it? To me, I'm not going to worry about seeing anything until really kind of the eye test coming up. The one thing I will say is I like the mentality of this team coming in this year. We haven't won anything yet. We haven't won anything. I think Jordan Mailata put it the best. And if those, 53 guys come in with that mentality, Eagles are going to be a hard team to beat, man. They really are. Even with the daunting schedule as it is, think about this for a second. They got a really tough schedule, but the Eagles are the best team. On they're the best team. Like right now, if you look at them on paper, they're the best team. I don't want to hear about the Lions. I don't want to hear about Buffalo. I don't want to hear about Baltimore. Okay, don't want to hear about Kansas City. Okay, I don't want to hear about these teams. Okay, and I'm also getting tired of the whole narrating of Jalen Hurts. We're going to get into in a few minutes this whole back and forth thing with Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton should keep his mouth shut. In all honesty, because Cam Newton was a first-round draft pick, and in my eyes, he was a bust. What did Cam Newton win? He won one MVP, and it was the year his team went to the Super Bowl. It was his year. And what happened? His team got trounced in that Super Bowl, if I remember correctly. Like, it wasn't even close. I think Denver smoked them. You know what I mean? So, I can't remember. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was 24-10 that year. But if I remember, about that game, didn't he get sacked ungodly? Yeah, here you go. Cam Newton wants to talk about Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts my man was 8. He threw the ball 41 times in his Super Bowl. 41 times. 265 yards. No touchdowns. No touchdowns. 1 interception. He had 6 rushes for 45 yards. So combined, he had about 300 yards. Combined. So in his one Super Bowl appearance, he had 300 yards combined. Okay? So to me, I'm sorry, Cam, you need to shut up. Because Jalen Hurts outplayed you in his first Super Bowl that he lost. Outplayed you. I'm sorry. No. Again, to me, I don't think Jalen's worried about it. I really don't. I don't think he's worried about what's being said about him, especially by Cam Newton. Who the hell is Cam Newton? Honestly. Seriously. Oh, I was this in college. No need to talk about that. Well, guess what, dude? You didn't make the Super Bowl twice in your first 4 years. Not once, but twice. And you want to put added yards together? Jalen outdid you in yardage and touchdown passes in his first Super Bowl that he lost. So this dude needs to shut up. But again, it's all about getting eyes on him. Then he wants to go back and forth with Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark's not a credible guy. And did Cam do some stuff in the league? Yeah, he did. But to sit there and take shots and say, oh, I'm only doing this and I'm only doing that. My man got to the Super Bowl twice in 4 years. Twice in 4 years. Outdueled the best quarterback in the league, both times head to head. And a lot of people forget he also outdueled him. He also outdueled Pat Mahomes on a Monday Night Football game in between those Super Bowls in Arrowhead. A lot of people forget that. So I'm not trying to hear nothing that Cam Newton has to say. Okay, if Tom Brady wants to come out and talk about what Jalen Hurts is, he's got the criteria. He's got the hardware that he can talk. Joe Montana can talk. Troy Aikman can talk. A guy who chooses who went into business for himself and doesn't fall on a fumble. Yeah, he made a business decision. Steve Fuentes checking back in. He says, Mike, how do you feel about the first few days of Eagles training camp? Jordan Davis looks incredible. Jahai Campbell is healthy and ready to go, it seems. Yeah, I am very I am. I'm digging Terrence Marshall? Digging him too as the number 4. He's looking very, very good. I'm still sold on Jahan Dotson. A lot of people I know haven't been. Trust me, I watched him all 4 years at his time at Penn State. Dotson's the real deal. I felt like, last year was just kind of hard for him to he had to get in where he fit in, kind of. Now he's got a full offseason mini camp. Now he's going to go to training camp. He's been working with Jalen Hurts, getting their report out. So I expect a bigger year from him. But this was it Terrence Mathis, the kid they got from the Colts. He's definitely turning some eyes in camp. Joe saying thoughts on Jahai Campbell already practicing. It's just credit to the kid. He took his his rehab very seriously, and to be that young, man. To be that young is an amazing thing. You heal a lot quicker, man, when you're that young. Steve saying Coop playing safety and Quinyon could be following the team's number 1. Not saying just on one side of the ball. Thoughts? Listen, let that kid cook. And if you're going to put Coop at safety, you can do so many other things, because I feel like one of the steals that they got in this offseason was Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson can be like a Malcolm Butler. He can be at the line of scrimmage. He can play back. He can go one-on-one with people if you need him to. I would definitely. I think that was one of the more underrated signings. Him and Ojulari, I think, are going to pay dividends for the Eagles. I really, truly do. I think Josh Uche, and now they're talking about the Eagles might be going after the guy who got cut from the defensive tackle. They're talking about bringing him in from Las Vegas, the guy from the Raiders who just got cut. So, I mean, the Eagles are stacking their defensive line. Like, Howie's cooking, dude. That's all I can say. Steve's saying, wait, Steve, this is what happened. I was not available when Pat started this morning. Pat had some technical difficulties. He ended it, and I jumped on and restarted it, and we're going. So we've been on for about 40 minutes now, buddy. He says, if I was the Phillies, I would hire Ed Wade as the senior advisor of scouting. Just looking at a talent he drafted a while in the Phillies with the Astros. Yeah, I mean, you could, but that's if Wade wants the job. You know what I mean? He said, I thought you canceled these shows. No, man. Nope, he did not. We never cancel, buddy. It's just sometimes our life, sometimes we're available, we're not. Al's down in Rehoboth with his neck buried up in the sand. Last I heard, his kids were feeding him by slingshot. So he was getting breakfast on the beach. So, Pat had a little bit of trouble this morning. So, like I said, being a good teammate, I was able free of what I was doing. And I was able to come on and do this show for you guys and help a brother out. Alpini checking in. He says, yo, Mike, where's Pat? Pat is he's okay. He's going through a little technical difficulties, as you know, with all these storms out here. First Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs. All I hear is Hurts fumbled, but not that Sirianni or Gannon never adapted to the second half defense. Yeah, there was a lot of things. Gannon, I think, checked out. Like, I think he knew he was getting the Arizona job, and he was just – because some of the way that defense played wasn't how they played to get there, and that's why I was kind of like, eh. But you know what? Hindsight's always 20/20, though, Mike, ain't it? He says, how about the Phils going for the sweep against the Yankees today? Should be a good pitching matchup. Yep, Mar, I was just talking about that. Definitely. I'm liking I'm liking the fact that they got Wheeler going for the Phillies, but Rendon has kind of done very well against the Phillies in his career. At one point in time, I wanted him on the Phillies. Believe it or not, I thought he could help out our starting rotation. So, again, we have to wait and see what happens right now. I'll tell you this much, though. I like the Phillies bullpen more than the Yankees bullpen right now. And I'm going to say that. I like the Phillies bullpen better. You could be a Yankees fan right now and know that your lead's not safe. I mean, if you think about it, that game Friday night, like They were right there. It was like a 6-5 game. And all of a sudden, dude, the Phillies exploded. So, I mean, and then again yesterday, same thing. Steve says Yanks blow pretty bad right now. At least 2 Gold Glovers on that team, and the D is still garbage. Yeah, they look out of sorts, don't they? I mean, you see Chaz Chisholm booting the ball yesterday. So, he goes, all I hear is Jalen has the offensive line, but didn't Troy Aikman have an offensive line for years? Hall of Famers had Irwin and Smith and had a really good defense. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Cowboys bring that up, right? Cowboy fans will bring that up. Oh, well, Jalen's got a stacked team around him. I'm like, didn't you guys win 3 Super Bowls with the big 3? I said, so now we get a big 3, and now, oh, you got a super team. Yeah, I know. You throw that right back in the Cowboys fans' face. They can't say nothing. I'm like, well, it got you 3 Super Bowls, didn't it? Shut up. It's just our turn to have it. So Mario's saying, and no Judge hurts them offensively. Yeah, it does. But I'll tell you what, Stanton can still hit. I call him Mike Stanton. I ain't calling him Giancarlo. Mike Stanton. Mike Stanton still can hit a ball, can he? I mean, dude, he looked like he effortlessly hit that ball yesterday, and that ball flew. He said, which Eagles regressed this year? You know who I'm going to say? And I'm going to say Saquon Barkley. And I'm not going to say he regresses as far as – I think he's going to regress as far as yardage. And the only reason why I'm saying this is, Steve, is you have a healthy A.J. Dillon behind him now, and it goes from good to worse. You know, A.J. is that big bruising type back. So imagine you're trying to stop Barkley for 20 rush or 20 touches a game, 20, 25 touches a game. Hey, you got A.J. Dillon running down your throat. You know what I mean? I think there's going to be a lot of that this year. I think they're going to try and keep him as fresh as possible for that postseason. And the way you do it is you've got to run A.J. Dillon. And I think that's going to take away from his yardage. God already knows Jalen Hurts already vultures his touchdowns from the one. So, but I like to see the Eagles do a little power running. Of course, too, with Van Sumeren also being a fullback this year, I think that could be very interesting as well. You might start seeing who would have ever thought that the Eagles would be bringing back the fullback? Think about that for a second. They got Van Sumeren coming back as a fullback this year. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they do and what Kevin Patullo does with this offense. I mean, it's his show now, so let's see what happens. I also hear any QB or Jackson and Allen behind the Eagles offensive line would win, but the same cannot be said about the Cowboys offensive line in the 90s. Yeah. And no, I don't think, and I'm going to be real blunt here when I say this, I don't think Josh Allen wins the Super Bowl behind this Eagles offensive line because Josh Allen is a gunslinger, and gunslingers throw interceptions. Okay? Lamar Jackson might. He might. I think he could do what Jalen Hurts did with this if the roles were reversed. If he was here and Jalen was in Baltimore. But Josh Allen, no. Josh Allen takes too many chances with his arm. And that's the only knock on him. The guy's got a great arm. He can hit the guy in stride. Smart guy. But he's also got that gunslinger mentality. He's going to try to throw it. And, that's basically his downfall with that. So he said, Steve says, Yankee fans call him Carlos Home Rodon. Yeah, I think it was like he's got like unbelievable record at home or something like that. I was reading something about that. But guys, I want to bring up something right now with us. Again, I've been looking over this schedule, and this schedule to me, again, with the Eagles being who they are, and I don't care, you can call me a homer all you want. Until somebody beats them, they're the best team in the NFL. But they're starting over. I know they got the Cowboys opening week. Again, I'm going to say this. I think the Cowboys are going to be better this year than they were a year ago. I really do. I think the Cowboys will be right there in line with the Commanders. I think the Commanders take a step back this year. I think reality hits them in the face like something fierce because to me, it looks like they're trying to do a bought championship which means you go out and you trade for all these older guys. They got a disgruntled guy and Terry McLaurin. I mean, I think the Eagles beat the Cowboys the opening week. I really do. Only reason I think this game's not close, and it's not for it's not that I don't think the Cowboys are not a good team. I just think they are new coordinators, new head coach, the head coach's system, new players to get acclimated. That offensive line, you got 3 young guys on that offensive line, the 3 Tylers. So I don't think that that's really going to take shape. I don't think it's going to be good for the Cowboys opening night. I think the Eagles really, really get on them and get on them bad. So I'm sorry, guys. I had to pause for a second here. I got to wet the whistle. All right. Mario saying, I don't know about regressing, but hope Saquon shows up just as he played last year. Mario, I think he will. I think now they got a better backup running back. With A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon can pound that ball. And to me, A.J. Dillon's like remember Brandon Jacobs that played for the Giants, how he just run people over? That's A.J. Dillon. The Eagles finally got themselves a big bruising back. Steve saying, I think the Eagles break the record for the most sacks by a team in the season. That's one of my homer predictions for this season. They could. I mean, they got some guys that can get after the passer, man. And I don't know, but I'm going to go through this schedule real quick. Like these first 4 games where people were saying, whoa, man, like, I don't know. Like, to me, they look really kind of clear. Like, I think they beat the Cowboys, and I think they can go to Kansas City and beat the Chiefs. People got to remember, the Chiefs are going to Brazil to play that game. And that game is a Sunday, like 4:25 game. If you guys remember, the Eagles came home and had their home opener against Atlanta. They had their home opener against Atlanta last year. And how bad did the Eagles look coming back? Like, they looked tired. They looked gassed. Now you're playing a day earlier. You know what I mean? So, and if you look at it honestly, the Eagles will already be in rest mode for them before anything else. Like, Kansas City's got the short end of the stick. Yeah, they get to go home and play their home openers against the Eagles, but the Eagles will have basically they will played the day before their game. So the Eagles will have one more day of rest. So the Eagles will be sitting around, lounging around, watching Kansas City, and the Eagles don't got to go nowhere. Think about that. The Eagles can sleep in their bed until, Tuesday? Before they get up and start preparing, and then they fly into Kansas City on Saturday, where Kansas City's got to fly over another continent, probably not getting back till, Sunday sometime, or Saturday sometime. This could be a long, long thing for that. I like the Eagles in that game. I like the Eagles against the Rams. Again, West Coast team coming east, playing a 1 o'clock game. Never good. Now, I'm not sure about this Tampa game that I'm looking on the schedule. I'm really not sure. They've had our number down there. I'm going to chalk that up as a loss. I really am. I'm going to give them their first loss of the season. I think Tampa gets us again down there. For some odd reason, we never play well in Tampa. Haven't played there. Sirianni just, he just gets out coached in those games down there. Even with Saquon last year, we got beat pretty badly. But I think they come home and I think they play a tough Denver team. I think they win against Denver. That's going to put them at That'll be at 4-1 when they go to New York. This is, I think, a very slippery game for the Birds because they play a home game against Denver, and then literally 4 days later, they got to go up the Turnpike and play the Giants. I think these 2 games right here are close, the Denver and the Giants game. I believe, honestly, that I think the Eagles could win that first Giants game. I think they lose at Minnesota. I don't know why. Again, that's not a place they play well. So they'll be sitting at 5-2, and then right before the bye, I believe they take care of business with the Giants, making them at 6-2 going into the bye, and then you have what they call the quote unquote kind of crazy stretch that they have where they play Green Bay, Detroit, Dallas, and Chicago, and the Chargers. To be honest with you, if I'm looking at these 5 games, I got the Birds going 4-1 in these 5 games. And I think the loss they get is at Dallas. I think Dallas gets them. I think they beat Green Bay on Monday night. I think they come home and beat the Lions here. I think they lose to Dallas. They rebound on Black Friday against the Bears. And I'm not a big believer in the Chargers at all. I don't believe in that team. So I have the Eagles more or less losing right there. So 7, 8, 9, 10. So I would have them at 10-3 before they host the Vegas Raiders coming here. I think they win that game. This Saturday game at Washington, I'm going to give the Washington. So it'll be 11. So I have them at 13-4. 13-4 because I think probably 12-5 because I think by the time that Washington game, that second Washington game, they're going to be playing people, that don't really need to play. So by that time, Tanner McKee will be playing, and so there's that one. Okay, Steve says the only Eagle who will regress is Nakobe Dean because he's hurt. This team is built different. They're the oldest team in the league. Washington will take a step back for sure. I do too. I think that like them trading for Deebo Samuel, I laugh because that dude gets hurt every year. And I mean, come on, dude. They just signed Von Miller, which, by the way, I want the Eagles to sign Von Miller because I think Von Miller on the Eagles would be nasty. I think he would be nasty. But he ends up going to DC. And just some of the people they have. Now, they have a good head coach down there, but how many of you guys think Jaden Daniels takes a step back? Like, a lot of people forget, like, C.J. Stroud was Jalen Daniels 2 years ago. And look how C.J. Stroud struggled last year. It's going to be interesting to see once they see how to slow this kid down. Now everybody's got tape on him. So, I don't know, man. Steve says, my concern for this year is the Birds are not stacked. It is setting the edge and not losing contain. I really hope that doesn't become our defensive issue all year. It could be, man. It could be. But I like the Birds. Like I said, I'm 12-5, 13-4. I will have them going. So, Minnesota upgraded their defense by signing Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. Did they? No. Excuse me. Did they? I mean, Jonathan Allen wasn't really doing nothing with the Skins, or with Washington. And Hargrave ain't been the same since he left here. So, I mean, I will say this though: Flores will have that defense. It'll be a blitzing defense. I will say that. And then plus them actually signing our guy from last year, the cornerback. So now he'll get a chance to play over there. Once again, guys, don't forget tonight, 10 o'clock, Matty B will take you through today's world of sports. We'll be covering probably Eagles training camp along with those fighting Phillies and, his iconic This Day in Philadelphia sports. Make sure you tune in for that. Also, make sure you tune in. He may have the comings and goings of those trade deadlines. So see what he's going to want and who he feels the Phillies may get. Thursday, don't forget, guys, Attacking the Third, Steve Fuentes, Pat Bernard, everything MLS, and our Philadelphia Union. Make sure you guys check them guys out. Thursdays, 9 o'clock. Fridays at 10:30 p.m., it's the Wraparound with Pat Bernard. He will be covering everything Philly sports, from the Flyers, Sixers, all the way to the Wings and Water Dogs. Pat got you covered everywhere in between. Sunday mornings, again, it's me, Pat, and Al. This week, Pat with a little bit of technical difficulties. Al was buried up to his neck in sand, getting omelets flung at him by Slingshot. down in Rehoboth. So make sure you guys tune in for that, guys. Excuse me. I have a little tick on the back of my throat. It's been ticking me off all day. Mike Papperner says James Daniels is good, but 1 year of tape and legitimate running game. I'm also not a person who's going to put Daniels in the top 10 after one good year. Yep. I have no issues going 11-6 this year. Washington and Dallas deserve more falls. Mike says Von Miller signed with Washington. Yes, he did. All right, guys, listen. You guys have been great. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties that Pat was having this morning. Again, we did have storms roll through the area, so maybe his area got hit a little bit harder than most. So for Pat Bernard, for the Sand Mummy, Al Safiri, I am Mike Lauro, man, and I will see you guys next week. That's right. I will be away all week, so I will see you next weekend sometime. Until then, take care. Don't forget, Matty B's got the Vikings final, and he's also back tonight for the final word. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Oh, food of the day today. Let's keep it simple. Let's grill some hot dogs and watch the Phillies sweep the Yankees. You guys have a go, and I'll see you later.